Good morning, everyone. We'll just wait for a few more seconds for everyone to come in this informative, interactive webinar that we have set for you for today's presentation. My name is Jesus Padilla. I am the Assistant Director here at the Florida SBDC at FIU, and I would just want to thank you for everyone attending today's session. So this is a good opportunity to introduce yourself. What type of business do you have? What industry you're in? So that throughout today's presentation, it will be providing the hands-on, the aha moments. So our consultant, Matthew Block, which will be facilitating today's presentation, will be able to answer those questions for you for today's conversation, but also schedule a meeting with you afterwards on how we can best assist you, growth strategies for you to have a successful um, um, second half of the new year, of the year per se, and also implementing the strategies for 2027. So definitely encourage you to use the chat if to introduce yourself. If you have any questions throughout today's presentation, I will be moderating those questions on the Q&A and the chat. And I'll be more happy to answer those questions for you. Yes, all participants will be receiving today's presentation, the recording, additional information that Matthew may provide to enhance the conversation with you. But then at the same time, I'll put my contact information, additional resources such as like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Strongly encourage you to participate in our YouTube channel as we have a plethora of a library of pre-recorded webinars to enhance the conversation with our business teams. Secondly, if there's any questions on how we can assist you, by all means, I will be more than happy to answer those questions. As you know, we start as strangers, we're gonna leave as family. So I'll briefly describe of who is the Florida SBDC at FIU. We're housed under the FIU. We're housed under the Florida SBDC network, which is funded through a cooperative agreement with the SBA. Across the state of Florida, there's 9 regional centers. So if your business is located here in Miami-Dade, Monroe County, we are your local SBDC. If your business is located outside of our region, by all means, shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to connect you with your local SBDC across the state. Now, I know that we might have some friends from outside the state of Florida. That's not a problem. Shoot me an email. I'll be able to connect you with your local SBDC as well. But at the same time, not only with the Florida SBDC network, we also work with the Florida Apex Accelerator program. It offers government contracting services that focus on consulting, training, and information to help you um, to to work with businesses and agencies such as the Department of War, the federal, state, and local agencies, and along with other prime contractors as well. In 2014, we have been in operation since 2014, and we did such a great job that in 2018, we expanded down to the Florida Keys. One of, obviously, Matt is going to be talking about your core services, how you're able to stand out with those procurement agencies, those procurement officers, how to sell your services. These are our core services that we provide. That 101 no cost consulting. Obviously, today's conversation is government contracting, but do you have the capacity to get those contracts to pay your employees? So that's where our access to capital consultants will come into play. Also, additional strategies and growth strategies to help you to scale your business on a conservative route. But then at the same time, there's a lot of information, data market research, along with trainings and workshops to enhance your business needs as well. Since 2014, we have been able to work with close to 8,900 small businesses. But one key area that I definitely would love for you to think of is that we have been able to work with clients to get close to $345 million in local, state, and federal contracts. So Matt is one of 4 consultants that focus on access. I apologize. Matt focuses on government contracting. That he could definitely help you out to connect you with the appropriate agencies based on your business industry. In doing so, not this will be possible not only with our consultants, but also the our clients, our small businesses that we have worked with, as we were recognized as a National SBDC of the Year in 2023. Not only with a team of Matt, but we also have a team of 18 specialized consultants to assist you once again in access to capital, government contracting, marketing strategy, HR, operations strategy. And in doing so, we also have two consultants in the Keys. So before I introduce Matt, and Matt will spearheading the conversation, by all means, if there's any questions, strongly encourage you to put them in the Q&A so that I'll be able to moderate those questions on your behalf. Like I said, we're family, it's a safe zone. So you could send me an email, you could shoot me a message on today's webinar, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. So without further ado, Matthew Block, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jesus, and thank you, everybody. Good morning. My name is Matt Block. I've been, as Jesus said, I'm a government contracting consultant with the SBDC. I think I just got my 5-year recognition recently, I believe. I've been with the SBDC. Before that, I used to work with the DBE Supportive Services Program. And what's not here is before that, I also used to work as an estimator bidder for a contracting firm. So I do have a lot of information on both sides on, how to, write proposals, win bids, quote contracts and stuff like that. So I will do my very best to help you with all these tips to be able to write a good proposal. I know it's something that, I get these questions a lot. And just so you know, as Jesus told you at the beginning, we do offer one-on-one consulting, and I have helped a lot of clients get their proposals on point, okay? This presentation, just so you know, is more about all the general tips, like the things, like the general questions that everyone has about proposal writing. One thing I do want to know about this disclaimer, I do like to put this disclaimer at the beginning of everything, okay, is that all the examples that I pulled out of here are for illustration purposes only. The first thing that everyone asks me, like, is there a format I can use? Is there anything like a template? And I'm like, well, if there were a template or a format, we wouldn't need this workshop. The reason there isn't a template or a format for anything like this is because each agency, each contracting officer, each job is different. Okay, so there really cannot be like a one size fits all for everything. Every single RFP that comes in, if you read, there's going to be specific instructions on how to turn in the bid, and not only how to write it, but also like how to present it. I've had a lot of clients, like they finish a bid, they work really hard, and then they email it, and because they didn't read the instructions that it needs to be hand sealed and physically and delivered, they lose the bid. Okay, so it's very important we go over that. And these are the things we're going to go over today. Okay, so the most important thing before anything, and by the way, before I go on, please put your questions in there. I told Jesus to please just interrupt me whenever with any of your questions. I don't want to move too far into this, and then there's like 1,000 questions about slides that we went over, like 10 slides before. It's better if you start asking questions now. And I'm a firm believer that every single question counts. It doesn't matter if it's it's something you think, oh well, that's obvious. It's very important to ask every question you can. Okay, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. All right. So the first thing, more important than anything, is gather all the information. All right. All bids come with sometimes 1 document, sometimes 10 documents, sometimes 50 documents. All right. And you cannot put in a bid without having all these documents in your hand and having read them. If not, what are you writing about? Okay. You need to be able to look at all the information, gather, make sure you have it. All right. Bidding or writing proposals without provided information is a gamble at best. All right. And it's not even a good gamble because you're not really betting on anything without any knowledge. All right. And let's say that you do get awarded without understanding the work, it could be a big disaster. All right. If you just, you happen to be a very talented writer and you convince people to give you the job and you just happen to know what the job is, you don't know what the job is about, it can be a big, big, big problem, assuming they even give you the job. All right. Government agencies in every single RFP make it clear the contractor is responsible for reading and understanding the contract documents. All right. There is no world where we write something, we gain a job, and then we go back and say, oh, we need to adjust our price, we need a change order because we didn't know that. All right. Another thing I hear a lot of time is, oh, that was hidden. I'm like, if you read through the documents, nothing's hidden, everything's there. Okay. Hidden implies that they deliberately took something and hid it from you. If you didn't go over the documents, of course, everything's going to be hidden. So please, you need to go through all these documents. I keep getting asked if there's any type of program that can read all the documents for you and give a proposal on the other side. I'm like, the answer to that is, to my knowledge, absolutely not. There's no machine where you can just put in an RFP and get a proposal out on the other side. And more importantly, remember that you are competing against other firms. And if other firms are willing to put in the footwork and read all the documents, they're probably going to beat you on that bid because they have more information than you. Okay? So it's very important. All right, proposal writing tips. All right, search advertisements to download the documents. You like here, this is one I found in another state, and I'm using for another state on purpose, so nobody thinks this is like all these look different. Okay, but if you look here at the bottom, it says view proposed scope. All right. Sometimes if the documents are not downloadable, then you need to contact the person there to get the contract documents. All right. Obtaining contract documents is always free. All right. It's not going to cost you any money. If anyone's trying to charge you, that is not the government. Please just hang up the phone, call us, and I will help you find the documents for the job you're looking for. It's not a big deal. Okay. All right. Please keep in mind quotes and RFPs, even though we use the terms interchangeably at times, are not the same. Okay. A quote is basically, I want to buy, 1,000 bottles of water. How much are you going to charge us for each bottle of water? I'm going to charge you $1 for each bottle of water. Here's your quote. It's $1,000. There you go. That's a quote. Okay. An RFP is a request for proposal, and what you need to answer there is a letter of response. All right. And basically, what this is like more for services, like just throwing something out like environmental service, like they need to clean up. I don't know, someplace in the Everglades need to clean up something. They need to know that you have the expertise to do what you have to do. Okay. So that's when you need to do a response and show them how to do it. So quotes and RFPs are not the same. If you're in the quoting world, it's much easier because you don't have to write anything for it, but you have to get your prices on point. If you're in the services world, more than likely you're going to be with RFPs and letters of response where you have to do technical and price. Okay. All right. Before writing anything, we need to check requirements. It's very possible, all right, that firms don't qualify for the jobs. All right. Why? You might not have enough employees at this time. There might be a bonding requirement you can't meet. That happens very often. If this happens, do not be discouraged. All right. It doesn't mean that you can't bid on any job. You just can't bid on this specific job in this specific moment in time. All right. And please keep in mind that there are jobs that are so huge that even huge companies can't touch them, and they got to team up with other huge firms. So don't ever feel bad about that. It's like shoe size. It's just what fits at the time. Okay. If you feel like we're missing something to be able to get to these bids, you have to, then that's a warning. So it just tells you, hey, in order for us to move forward, we need to go get bonded. In order for us to move forward, we need to get more employees or something. It just tells you where you're at and where you need to be. All right. If you don't want to take that step at this time, then just look for other bids that don't have those requirements. What I don't want happening to anybody is you start working on something and working really hard. And you put 3 weeks of work into writing a proposal, following all these tips. And then at the end, you find out, oh, I don't qualify for this job. You're a business owner. Your job is your time is very, very, very valuable. You should not be wasting your time on things that, on things that are not going to work out for you. All right. So don't look for all bids. Look at the ones you do qualify for. So look at the requirements. For example, if the department of consultant designated liaison office and project manager. So if you don't have a project manager for this job, or you want to be the project manager and you're not going to have enough time to do this, this is probably not the job for you. Okay. So look, the consultant's work shall be performed and directed by the key personnel identified. Sometimes they tell you what these key personnel, you need to have a manager for this, a manager for that, 5, 6 people. If you don't have these at the time, this is probably not the best project for you at the moment. Okay. Please make sure you check the requirements. Okay. As I said, some project requirements may make some jobs prohibitive to some firms. Project requirements usually reflect the complexity of the project, which means if the project is more difficult, it's going to be more difficult to meet the requirements. Okay. This is done by design. They need to know that the firm can do the job. Please keep in mind, this is going to keep coming up. This is taxpayer money, and the people that are issuing these contracts are the gatekeepers of that taxpayer money. They can't just hire a firm based on a hunch. They need to make sure that the firm can do this. Okay. If a firm cannot meet the requirements, it is best to search for another project. There is no shame in this. All right. When I was a bidder, it happened all the time. They used to pile all the bids on my desk. Matt looked through them. And on all the one I went through, if there was like 40 of them, I could probably qualify for 6 or 7 of them. All right. It's just the way it was. And then I'm like, man, I wish we were here right now, but we're not. Maybe later on, but right now we can't. Okay. Identifying payment terms. Now, most of the time, this is something I get all the time. The most important thing to understand before anything is people here in this don't have government contracting experiences. You're not going to have any type of advance from the government to do any work. You're going to have to begin this work out of your pocket. This doesn't require the writing, but again, I don't want any of you wasting time writing a proposal. If later you find out you don't have the funds to start this job, okay? Most of the projects will be on what they call a 30-day a 30-day progress payment, which means that you work 30 days, and whatever you do in those 30 days, you get paid in the next 30 days. So as a rule of thumb, keep in mind that you're going to have to do at least at the most 60 days without getting paid, okay, for anything. That's a lot of payroll if you have contract. Keep that in mind, all right? Sometimes the size of the project is prohibitive, all right? Now, that being said, payment terms change from job to job and agency to agency. Please check. It'll always say, if you look at the example I put there, it's telling you exactly how you're going to get paid. Requests for payments are different, have different formats. Sometimes terms of payment can make some jobs prohibitive because you just don't have the cash on hand, all right? First, check for available cash so you're not writing for no reason. All right, as I said, the government does not offer an advance to start work. Initial costs are shouldered by the contractor, okay? Payments are usually payment progress, net 30 days, but can differ. Check payment methods and documents. If you don't have the cash to do the research, find a less prohibitive opportunity. That's all, okay? There's all types of work out there from, the government needs from pencils to rocket launchers, so everything in between. So there's plenty of work for everybody, all right? Now, this is where I see a lot of my clients stumble a lot, is in the scope of work. The scope of work means, what exactly is the government asking for? What do they need you to do, all right? The most important thing about the scope of work is don't assume anything. Don't assume, I've been working landscaping for I don't know how many years, so this is easy for me. Don't assume anything because you don't know exactly what the government's asking for until you read it, okay? It might be something that's just cost prohibitive. They might want, sometimes there's environmental factors that you're not putting in, okay? If you don't read it and think, well, I'm just going to go on my gut here, it could cause a big problem, all right? Plus, if you got to write about it, how are you going to write about something you don't know? There's a very high chance you're not going to put a lot of work into this and not win that bid because you're not answering specific questions the government is asking. And this is a red flag to the government saying, hey, this person did not read this, so we do not want them on this job, okay? So you need to read the entire scope to identify work items and potential difficulties. When I was a bidder, and I don't like talking about myself too much, but this was the time when I had 30 different kinds of highlighters because I need to highlight every single thing in the scope. This is going to be a difficulty. I've highlighted in pink. This is something we can do. I highlighted in yellow. And the whole scope, I had it all full of colors, okay? It looked like a rainbow, all right? This is the most important part because if you don't understand this, it's I think almost impossible to write a good proposal, okay? And don't take any shortcuts. This can be very costly. And I'm not an AI expert, but I see a lot of people trying to use AI to take shortcuts through this. If you trust it, fine. I just know that me personally, I wouldn't trust that without checking it because it could spell disaster for my firm if the AI got something wrong, okay? Sorry. There we go. All right, so this is something that's going to come up over and over again. Please follow the instructions, follow the instructions, follow the instructions. Everything is in there telling you exactly how to do things. If there's something missing, which happens because sometimes these RFPs are copy and paste jobs, that's normal. Contact the contract officer in writing, according to the rules inside the proposal, and they will answer the questions you need, okay? Outline the section of the proposal and what each section will include. This will be different on every single one. There won't be an outline, the same outline for everything. And I can't tell you how many times I get this where people send me their responses and they don't send me the original documents. They send me their response. Matt, can you go over this? I'm like, well, if you don't send me the original RFP, I can't go over it because I don't know what the RFP was asking for, all right? And when they do send me the RFP, I notice that it's completely off. What they're asking for on this side and what they're giving me is completely off, all right? So please keep this in mind. Again, there are no formats for this. If you do that, your bid will be disqualified because you're not following what they told you to do, all right? Gather any necessary information and keep it close, all right? Most importantly, again, and I believe in emphasis to repetition, follow the instructions. Always follow the instructions, okay? Instructions are clear-cut, or should be. If they're not, then you got to ask questions, all right? Follow the timeline in the document to see how questions are to be asked and what is the question cutoff date. Now, for those of you not familiar with this, there is a question cutoff. Okay, first, every question needs to be done in writing so they can publish the question. So your competitors and you too will get the questions to every get answers to every question that every contractor has put out there. Okay, so you'll know what questions your competition has asked for, and your competition will know what questions you ask. Okay, this is only fair to keep the bidding process for everybody. All right. but do know that there is a cutoff date. All right. When there's a date where they say, right, no more questions, right? This is what they call a cone of silence. If you write a question in that time, they'll come back and say, well, we can't answer your questions now because we're in the cone of silence. But that's also a red flag because it tells them they're not reading the documents. They're not reading when these questions can be asked and when they can't be asked. So that's another red flag. Okay, so don't do that. They're not gonna shoot the messenger or anything. You'll be fine. But it is a red flag that's telling them, hey, they're not reading the document. They do make a note of that. I know because I used to work on the other side. Okay. Those are clear-cut instructions, how to submittal instructions. So please stay away from the famous format. I had a client once that lost a bid because in the submittal instruction, the client did not read that they needed to include a thumb drive with the same information inside the package, and they didn't include that, and their pricing was good, and they still lost the bid. Okay, because they didn't include that. And I might say that's harsh, yes, but that's also telling the government, hey, I don't read what you're sending me. So please keep that in mind. All right. Now, in this particular one, this is not always the same thing, but look, in components for writing proposal, cover page and awareness of project issues is 30% of the points. In this particular case, this changes, okay? Approach of this particular project is 30%, project staff is 30%, and all other is 10%, all right? So when it comes to quoting versus response to proposals, all right, quoting is basically almost always lowest price, you get the bid, all right? In RFP response, there's a percentage system, like a grading system on how good your answers are, okay? It's not always price is a factor, all right? But in this case, it's inside that 10%, all right? Even if the price is very low and a contractor can't show in writing that they're good for the project, there might be an issue, all right? So please keep that in mind. It's very important to get your writing on point. All right, sample outline should be the company name and logo with provided financial management number, project number. That's it, all right? No fancy schmancy anything. It should look kind of like, I'll show you in a second, will be one, okay? So the sample outline is 1. In this particular case, awareness of project issue, 30 of 100 points. 1.1, understanding the scope. 1.2, project issues, which is what they're asking for. They need you to write everything about that, okay? How do you understand the scope? What needs to be done? Blah, 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 blah. Project issues. What issues do you anticipate? Blah, 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 blah. They know what the issues are. Okay? Sample outline 2, approach of the project, 30 of 100, unique concepts and savings. How can you save the government any money with whatever you do? They want to know this, all right? Quality control. How are you going to do your quality control? And very importantly, your schedule. They have a schedule on when these jobs need to start and need to end. You need to tell them day by day. People say, like, I'll do this in a month. That doesn't work that way. They want to know day by day what you're going to do to get this done on time, all right? Remember, projects that don't finish on time mean more money for you first, all right? And then probably for them. So they don't want that. So you need to give them a schedule. And yes, of course, I always tell everybody, I've never seen a project that goes according to plan. And if you guys ever see one, let me know and I'll go film the documentary because that would be like a weird thing. But you need to show them that you have like a plan, all right? That you're going to try to follow a plan. If anything happens, that's normal, all right? But you need to show them what plan you have and it needs to make sense, okay? Okay, project staff. Again, in this particular one, a project manager, they're asking for a 2-page resume. Staff quality, a 2-page resume of key employees. And the availability of all. Sometimes we have like employees that are like, we bring them on part-time and they need to know like, hey, are they going to be available when we need them because they're going to be working on another project? They need to know that, okay? And I don't know if this is probably in this presentation. I recently wrote it, so I'm not like sure I want to put it, but please keep in mind with resumes, like if you have employees and you ask them for their resumes, all right, don't just take it and put it in the proposal because each resume from a different person will look very different and will sound in tone will sound different than others. Make sure you look at them and write it down in your own words so everything is uniform, all right? The spacing, the coding, the tone, everything, make sure it's the same. You do not want 7 different pieces of documents from different people. It'll look very, very, very strange, okay? Government likes everything nice and boring. All right, sample outline, okay? 4, prime sub relation, if you're using any subs, all right? And the quality of the proposal, is basically them asking you, it's basically them looking at how well you wrote this up, all right? And some people say, well, we don't really like this because it involves a lot of writing, checking, and everything. But the reality of the situation, just so you know, is they're trying to see how well you follow instructions from the beginning. Because if they give you the job, they want to make sure that you're very good at following instructions and getting things done according to the letter. And if you can't show that in your response to proposal, then there's really no reason to give you the job because you can't follow those instructions on the job. That's how some people look at it. Okay. So again, awareness of the project, 30 points. Approach of the project, 30 points. Project staff, 30 points. Other, 10. Whoever scores the highest here usually wins. Sometimes, like depending on the job, I've had some where like these are all the points, and there's a tie. They want like an oral presentation done like a week later or something like that. And we all have to go like Tallahassee or something, do a presentation again. It just depends. That'll be inside the contract document, tell you what happens if there's a tie. All right. So some general rules to follow while writing a proposal. All right. One is use times, keep it simple. Use Times New Roman 12 points. Use caps and bold for titles. Use caps for subtitles. If you look at like the documents from the government, they do this almost the same thing. Try to keep it as close as you can to the document they gave you. Okay. If it's not following what I'm saying here, then look at the RFP that they sent you and try to make it look just like that. That's the best way to do it. It looks just like, know your audience. That's what they're reading. Okay. Keep spacing and margins regular and consistent. All right. This is a big one all the time. All right. Some general rules here. Never use pronouns. All right. Right. Like if my company is, Matt Inc. Right. So instead of writing, we shall provide, Matt Inc. shall provide, not we shall provide. Okay. And if it gets redundant, so be it. If you look at the RFP, you'll notice that when they refer to anything, it's very redundant. The department will do this and the department will do that. This will be done by the department. They don't say we, our, anything. Okay. The reason for this, the real reason is because, pronouns can create confusion as to who is being referred to. All right. That's the real reason. And the official reason is, my reason is it just looks unprofessional. You want to keep everything the same as the document that they gave you. Okay. Refer to the agency correctly. This is a big one. The city, the department, the Commonwealth. I've heard people refer to the city as you. Like you will receive. Like just be very careful with that. Make sure you know who you're writing to. The city, the department, the Commonwealth. Never use pronouns to refer to an agency or owner. Okay. For bulleted lists, always use verbs at the beginning of bulleted lists. For example, Matt Incorporated will attend all safety meetings, report any lack of compliance to the department, find the best possible production alternatives. All right. Be careful with that because that shows like when you put pronouns in things, it looks like you don't have experience writing. You don't want to give them that look. Okay. So there's a sample of a cover page. All right. You see how simple it is. The cover page, proposal, the company Inc., financial project, blah, 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 cool schools, awesome county. That's it. You're done. That's your cover page. All right. No need for a letter. We are pleased to present you this, and that. I know it's common, but if they didn't ask for it, the rule of thumb is they didn't ask for it, don't give it to them. Okay. Now, here's something that you can do, even if they don't ask for it. Develop a table of contents for your proposal. This makes it easier for them to find the place that they're looking for. And remember, every great book or document always has a great table of contents. A table of contents simplifies navigating your document. If you're good at Word, you can just go to the review tab and it will create a table of contents for you. However, when you do create it, please check and make sure it's all right. I've done that sometimes and I look and like sometimes it just reads the headers wrong or I put in the headers wrong and it doesn't match up. Okay, so please go over and make sure it's okay if you're going to use that. All right. Here's a very, very, very good tip. All right. This is something that I want everybody to get out of this today. Please keep the agency's format, numbering, and forms. Keep it the same way. If the title is 3.1, like the numeral, keep it at 3.1. Keep the numbering, keep the forms. Make it easy for them to read it, that they know where everything's at. All right. I'll try to explain this in a second, but it's very important. All right. Section 1, an example, awareness of project issues, 30 of 100 points. All right. Be concise in your understanding of the job scope. All right. You need to let them know that you understand this project. Demonstrate awareness by planning to remedy potential issues. Like if they know there's going to be an issue and you don't talk about that issue, you say, we got it. They're going to say, well, they don't really know what they're talking about. All right. If there's a potential issue that's in this project, you need to tell them how you're going to affront that issue. Okay. Cite scope and potential issue with a scope section number. For example, in accordance to section 6, article 5, Matt Incorporated shall. Okay. Make referrals like that. Don't just tell them what you're going to do. Tell them what you're going to do according to each section. All right. If this section is deficient, authorities may surmise that you have not read or do not understand the project scope. I'm going to go to a specific example what happens all the time in a minute. All right. So this is how it should look like. All right. If in their documents, one is awareness of project issues, then you write it the same way. One, awareness of project issues. And the same way, 1.1, understanding of scope. Here you write all your information. Okay. 1.2, the same numbering they use on their RFP. All right. Project issues. And there you write everything you want. Write as much important information as you can. This is very important without being redundant. All right. Even if it's, you see that it's a short answer, if it's a short and strong answer, that'll work. It's better than just going around and putting fluff in it. Okay. If there's not much more to talk about, then just put exactly what it is, what the project issue is, how you're going to fix it. That's it. All right. No reason to say the same thing 2 or 3 times. You want to make it easy on the reader. All right. Remember, they probably have 5 or 6 of them to read. If you make it easy, they'll appreciate it. Okay. Show the agency how you intend to save time on the project by employing your company's unique ideas and strengths. This is where you can get creative. All right. Don't get creative with anything else. In here, you can show the agency, look, I know you need this. Through our strengths, we can do this for you this way. Okay. Demonstrate methods for quality control and how quality issues will be resolved should these issues arise. All right. This will show that you're preemptive, you're planning ahead. That's what they're looking for. All right. Include an estimated schedule events from the beginning to the end of the job. There are plenty of programs that can do this. I used to do it in Excel myself, but I'm a dinosaur. But there are plenty of very good programs that can do this. Don't ask me the names of them, but I've seen people working with them. It's incredible. I think AI can do this for you too nowadays. Including a bar chart or a Gantt chart will make your proposal more professional and understandable. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with a Gantt chart, but it basically shows all tables of events, how they're going to, how they affect each other and how the project will move on. It's very, very good. If you don't know, please let me know and we can talk about, Gantt charts and all that when we consult. Remember, if this section is deficient, authorities may surmise that you have not planned out how the job will function or how you intend to meet deadlines. So that's, thumbs down when they read your proposal. Okay. This is probably the most important one. All right. Helpful tips. As I said, this is the biggest mistake that everyone makes. Never repeat instructions. Doing this will earn 0 points. What do I mean by this? All right. Instructions say in the RFP, the contractor shall provide the personnel with the necessary proven skills to complete the project to the county satisfaction. That's what the document that you're reading says, all right? And then somebody do not answer. Our company shall provide the personnel with the necessary proven skills to complete the project to the country's satisfaction. It's the same thing that's on the other side, right? I can't tell you how many times I see this, all right? You don't tell the agency that you're going to meet that requirement. They know that. That's implied. You either meet it or you're going to be off the job, right? That's implied. You have to explain to the county how you're going to meet that requirement. In this case, a list of personnel and their qualifications to match the project requirements is a must to score points. All right. If you tell them the first one, our company shall provide the personnel, and that's 0 points. All right. You're not going to get anything. They're going to know exactly what was done there. All right. So please keep that in mind. It's not going to help. All right. So section 2, approach of the project. Again, if on the RFP it's a 2, approach of project. 2.1, unique concepts and savings. This is where you write everything in. 2.2, keep the same numbering as in the RFP. All right. This is what your table of contents is going to reflect too. All right. Section 3, project staff. One of the most important pieces of information. This must demonstrate that the staff is capable and available, very important, available to work on the project you are proposing to perform. The government's very aware that sometimes we don't have all the people on call whenever we need them. So please explain to them how they're going to be available. Don't tell them that they will be. Explain how they will be available. Again, key employees are key. They're not going to ask you about every single worker, but they're going to ask you about your key employees. Who are you going to have here to make this project work out for us? All right. Staff quality. Time employee has worked for you. Time employee has worked for other firms. Noticeable projects employees may have participated on. Employees' experience with public work. All this is very important. Staff availability. Staff not busy on other projects, whether yours or somebody else's. Staff is hired or will be hired. This is very important. Remember, you don't have to have everybody hired when you do your response to proposal. They're not expecting you to have all these people on payroll. They're not going to check. All right. But they do need to be available for the project should you be awarded. All right. And if you tell them this person is going to be available, that person has to be available when the project starts. And if they're not going to be available for whatever reason, things happen, you need to talk to them and give them a replacement that's equal or better than the one that you had before. Okay. Staff does not experience significant health problems. It happens a lot. Okay. It's very, very common. And staff shall be available to perform the job. Helpful tips, all right? Keep the resumes to 2 pages. Sometimes people write resumes that are like, 11, 12 pages, like talking about themselves. Make sure 2 pages, not all. Not all employees, just managers and key employees for field and office, all right? Include a company organizational chart from the owner on down. This is a very, very good one, all right? You want to keep like an organizational chart and give them so they know like who they're talking to and who answers to who, all right? If project staff information is deficient, authorities may surmise that your company staff are not sufficient in number or not experienced enough, all right? This is what I talked about before. Do not paste individual resumes into the document, as resumes written by different people are easily detectable. All right. Rewrite resumes with the information provided by your employees. Let's make sure whoever's writing a proposal, make sure it's only one person writing that proposal. All right. Other people can check it, go over it, but one person, to keep the tone consistent, one person needs to write. All right. Of course, if I have employees and I got to ask them for their resumes, they're going to send me, and they're all going to look different. They're going to sound different. I need to read the information. If I'm the writer, I need to read the information that's in there and then rewrite it so they all look the same. Okay, same tone, same everything. I just need their information. Sorry. Okay, project staff, project manager, the resume, staff quality. You write everything in here. Availability. See, 3.2, 3.3, keep it the same way. And here's like an organizational chart, like what kind of what it could look like. I've seen like small firms make big charts where like when there's only like 4 or 5 people and they put it in 11 by 17 and fold it in there. That's not really necessary. If there's tons of employees, then I guess. But if there's like 10 of them, you can fit it on a normal 8 by 11 piece of paper and put it inside. It's no big deal. You don't need to get very fancy with that. Remember, that just makes things like bulkier and more difficult to read. So unless you absolutely have to, try to keep everything uniform. Okay. Like I always tell Jesus all the time with the business owner that decides to make like round business cards and then I don't know where to put them in my wallet. Keep everything as simple as possible. Um, Others, okay, prime sub relationship. Name subcontractors who participate on the project. Show prior experiences working together with subcontractors on projects if you have it, okay? Describe a subcontractor's expertise which may benefit the project, okay? And include the subcontractor's logo and marketing material, if any. By this, I just mean, if you're not familiar with this term, it's just a one-page document, their capability statement. Don't put in a whole brochure inside no one's going to read that and it's just bulky, all right? Documents, companies that work with the government should have a one-page capability statement. You should have one, and your sub should have one. If you don't have one, please sign up for consulting. I will help you develop a good capability statement for your firm. It's no big deal. Oh, and please don't pay anybody to do that. Please come to us first. We do know. While I can't write it for you, I can make sure it's good and it's compliant with the government and everything looks nice. Okay. Please don't pay. I heard ridiculous prices for this little one-page document, and it just scares me. Please come to us. We'll help you do it. All right. Some tips: do not lose a project because of poor proposal presentation. Sometimes, I know business owners, like you guys started your business because you're good at what you do, all right? And you have all this information in here. I know you do. You're really good at it. I'm not going to argue that point. So there's just they don't have, whoever it is doesn't have the experience to put what they have in here on paper, which is completely understanding. Like people, like I'm not a math person, even though I'm an estimator, I'm not a math person, okay? When I needed math done, I would go to somebody who knew more about math than me when I was something too complex, right? If you're not a good writer, think of it the same way. Like it's normal, all right? People are different. They have different skills, all right? If you're not a good writer, then find somebody who can help you with the writing, all right? Please keep in mind that price is not the sole determining factor, because despite what anyone says, it's not, all right? If I get a proposal from someone and the price is really low and they're speaking a bunch of gibberish inside the proposal, I am not giving them the job. I don't care how low it is, because that's probably gonna be my job when they go out and fail out there, that I'm probably the one gonna get fired as the contracting officer, okay, for taking that firm in. So price is not the sole determining factor, right? It's one factor, not the determining factor, all right? Agency authorities need to be convinced that you can do what you are offering. The presentation of your proposal speaks volumes about the quality of the work you have to offer, all right? There's a reason they ask for these. People think we're just being like, trying to be difficult. It's not that. It's like we have to pick between 10 different contractors, and we need to see first how they can follow instructions, how responsible they are. If we give them something to do, will they go over it and do it properly? These are all questions we need answers in this proposal before we decide to give the job to anybody, okay? Remember that firms are expected to follow a project instructions to the letter, all right? The quality of your proposal reflects that understanding, all right? If your proposal does not match what they're saying, very high chance you're not getting the job. spelling and grammar check. Lastly, please check your document for spelling and grammatical errors. Look, I'm a writer by trade. Later in life, I became a writer, technical, and no matter how good I think I am, I always make mistakes. All right, and I've learned to live with this. Use the best system you can to do this. One thing I do is I have my wife check my writing. She's very good at that, and she loves like pointing out because she thinks I'm smug with my writing. So she loves pointing out when she finds things, and she always does. Okay, so no matter how good you think you are, please run it through it. I also use Grammarly a lot. That's always a very good program, but I do accept that I'm a dinosaur. There's probably way better programs out there right now. All right. Do not solely trust the spell check of your word processor. I found this, especially in Word. I found this. It's very good, but sometimes it makes mistakes. All right. There are plenty of online resources that can perform instantaneous spelling and grammar checks. Some software is free and can be downloaded to your computer. All right. So in conclusion, all right, great proposal writing is one of the most important tools we have to obtain work. All right. If you're not the best writer, that's fine. Just find somebody who can help you with this. All right. Sometimes just have someone there to like write down your ideas properly. It's not about like it's not a you problem. Okay. You have all the information, you just can't put it down on the paper. That's completely normal. But that's why a lot of businesses hire proposal writers because the owners are really good at what they do, but they just don't have that quality to put in there. That's fine. All right. Instructions to write a proposal are very specific. Please, I know a lot of you are like, man, Matt really broke my heart right now because I really thought there'd be like a format or something I could use to get this done. I beg you, if you're gonna keep trying for that, I would beg you to stop wasting your time and please understand that like each one of these is different. Whatever format you get, whatever template you get is not going to work. All right. However, I do understand like humans, we generally like to learn things by goofing up ourselves. I do that all the time where people give me really good advice. I'm like, nah, let me go check for it myself. And then I go and find out that, they were right at the beginning. But hindsight is 2020. I wish I could go back and not do those errors again. If I can convince anybody right now that there are no formats, no templates, if I can convince people right now, I'd be very happy that I convinced you. Please understand you need to read these instructions as they're very specific. Even on how to send in the proposal, how they want it done is very, very, very specific. All right. So please, if I can convince you to stop looking for that, I'd be really happy. All right. You don't have to tell me anything, but I'd be very happy. All right. The better the quality of the presented information, the better your chances of being considered for the contract. All right. And the only way to write a great proposal is to have full understanding of a project's requirements. All right. As far as I know, there is no other way to do this. I see a lot of people trying to use AI to do this. And when they send them to me, I am not convinced. All right. I will admit I'm a little biased against it because I'm a writer. I will admit that. But still, if I look at the quality of someone who went over the whole thing by themselves versus someone who passed it through an AI, this one wins. Okay. For me, at least, and every time. Okay. Jesus, you want to take over here or you want me to?
Yes. All right, Matt, I have a plethora of questions for you. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Is the best time to be asking questions in the pre-solicitation phase of the project?
Yes. But there's always like a timeline. Like they'll tell you like the question, what date is it today? Today's July 1st. Perfect. All right. So they'll tell you can ask questions from July 1st to July 23rd. All right. So if July 1st is the pre-solicitation, perfect. Right? It's a great time. All right. Just don't let it be past the 23rd because then they go into a cone of silence. I'm just making the stuff up here. It could be whatever. All right. But just make sure it's within that timeline. Now, the best answer to that is the earlier you ask the question, the better. The earlier you ask the question, the better because you get your answer sooner and you may have other questions you want to answer in that time. So yeah.
Okay. For those of us who are single member LLCs, I often write my proposals by teaming with potential consultants who may be hired based on receiving the contract award.
Mm-hmm.
What should we, as a prime contractor, have in place during this proposal writing phase in terms of agreements, NDAs, and etc.?
More of a legal question, really. I don't like to really get involved in that because I'm not a lawyer. An NDA is a non-disclosure agreement with the writer, but if you can, use whatever means you have at your disposal to get these proposals in, do so. Just make sure it's legal. And if you have any questions about NDAs and stuff like that, it's a better question for a lawyer.
Yeah, and then and also legal assistance is outside the scope of our services, but we do have a referral list for legal professionals. So I will be putting my email in the chat. So you could shoot me an email, inquire about the legal professionals. I'll be more than happy to make those referrals for you.
And guys, please reach out to Jesus. You have no idea how helpful he is. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jesus, but I'm giving you a shout out right now. So please
Thank
forgive
you.
me. You have no idea how helpful Jesus is, not only to you, he's helpful to us consultants as well. All right. He will help you. Please reach out to him. The only way we can help you is if you reach out to Jesus. It's the only way. And I do want to remind you, this is no cost consulting. You're never going to get charged for anything. I always tell everybody that. Like, if I ever send you a bill, please feel free to call the cops and send me to jail. All right. So please just reach out to us. Go ahead,
Yep.
Jesus. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Okay. All right. The next one. I have been told that local governments would be very interested in my services. We're a nonprofit that facilitates youth leadership programs. Is there no RFPs for the specific service? How would I go about making the connection?
All right. So RFPs are always published, either for the state, for the counties, for the cities. They have to be published. Okay. So it's not something that, you go and ask someone for it. It's something you got to go online to their website and find it. Okay. If you sign up for consulting, I can show you where they all are. All right. But just as a rule of thumb, all right, for federal contracting, this is a very good question. For federal contracting, everything that's from the federal government, you're going to go to sam.gov. Okay. For state of Florida contracting, for any like state agencies like the Department of Transportation, my favorite, the Department of Environmental Protection, any state, the South Florida Water Management District, all these are state agencies. You go to myfloridamarketplace.com, where all the state projects are. Okay. In the case of Miami-Dade County, you're going to go to Miami-Dade County Strategic Procurement. They're going to have all their projects there. Okay, listed. And then you got the cities, right? Doral, Hialeah, Mopalaca. They're all going to have their project listed on their city website. Okay. So you want to know what Doral's doing for that kind of work? If they have anything available at the moment, you're going to go to City of Doral Procurement and find that. Okay. By law, all of these documents need to be available to everybody, not just companies. I don't own a company, yet I can go in and find any job opportunity I want because I am a taxpayer and have the right to see what they're doing with my money. All right. That's the law. Okay. So is it easy to find everything? No, it's not. Okay, but that's why you're going to sign up for consulting with us, and we're going to give you a tutorial on how to get to all these projects. Okay, there's codes that for the work you do. I understand the work you do. If you look, there's going to be like a NICS code for the federal government of the kind of work you do. You can run a search inside SAM for that code, and it'll shoot back if there's any projects or not. Same thing with the state. Okay, but we got to get set up and help you with that because each job is on a different basis, right? It's a one by one basis. It depends on what kind of work you do.
Yeah. So I also put on the I just launched a poll because we want to know how was the overall experience on how useful was it in any other topics that you definitely need some additional guidance. By all means, we're open for all ears on how we can best assist you. Then Matt, I have an additional questions for you right here. Is USFCR recommended for obtaining a SAM number and CMMC requirements?
I don't really understand that question. We're going to talk about that if you sign up for consulting. A SAM number is basically a cage code or a unique entity ID, and these are free. Okay, that's the first thing I want to say before anything. If anyone's trying to charge you to get these numbers, please just hang up the phones, cut communication, and please contact us. I cannot go in there and do it for you, but I can walk you through the process and get you all the that you need for free. Okay, there's some acronyms there. I'm not sure what they are. But I will tell you to your question, like to get a SAM registration, even certifications is free. Okay, this goes for everybody. All right, the government does not charge for you to register with them. Neither federal, state, or local. They do not charge for you. And I think if you're getting like minority certification, women certification, veteran certification, whatever it is, the paperwork might be a pain in the butt, but they're not going to charge you for it. Okay. If anyone is trying to charge you for it, that's a different company. It's a service. It's not the government. All right. So if you need help with these to get these at no cost to you, please sign up for consulting. We can help you.
And then yes, everyone is going to be receiving the presentation along with the recording, along with the additional links for request for consultation, the some additional introductions to our partners in the county, as what Matt was talking about. So there's different opportunities on how we can definitely assist you with the researching of the RFPs, the solicitations, the cost and estimating. At the same time, Matt and other consultants will be doing some additional government contracting webinars now until mid-September. So definitely encourage you to register for all of our upcoming workshops, webinars that I will be providing you the links of the upcoming webinars for government contracting. So definitely it carries over the conversation to enhance the meeting with Matt, but at the same time enhancing your business strategies as well. And
And
then
everybody know that
last
I have. Sorry, let's go ahead.
yes, and then yes, yeah, so I'll be providing all the additional links, information that was posted on the chat. Okay, and Matt, you have a comment?
Yeah, so I'll let you know that I know it's easier, like when you sign up for consulting, to have a familiar face, but my colleagues are very, very good as well. The clients that my colleagues I work with, so we have a very, very, very good team here. All right. If if you don't see me for whatever reason because I'm out or whatever, please just keep in mind you're always in good hands with us. Okay. Always, always, always. My colleagues and I, we're government contracting colleagues. We work hand in hand and we help each other so much. So please, you're very, very good.
And then let's see right here. Just give me 1 second because we were talking about the yes. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, the links for upcoming events. Yes, I'm gonna put everything in the chat of the upcoming events right here. But then at the same time, I will be providing that on the recap email with everyone with a specialized link, upcoming events to carry the conversation, along with some of introductions of our colleagues from the procurement sites such as Doral and Miami-Dade County as well. So you get a plethora. You're gonna love me, but at the same time, you're gonna hate me with all the information and resources I'll be providing your way
Story
as
of our
well.
lives, right?
Yep. Okay. And then but yeah, so okay, so there's no additional questions. So, like I said, I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar. I want to thank you, Matt, but at the same time, I want to thank everyone that was present today. It was really engaging, very interactive. Any way that we can do to assist you, don't hesitate. We're a phone call, an email, event away. I'll be more than happy to assist you with any way we can. But like I said, you'll be receiving all the information. So I'll be sending everything out to you once I get the video file. So I want to thank you all once again and have a good afternoon. Take care.
Hope to see you all again soon. Everybody still here?
Yeah, yeah. Give me a second.